All right.
I don't know what we're talking about,
Doesn't even matter, does
but
it?
we're live, so everybody knows that we don't know what we're talking about.
We're live.
So, yes.
All
Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DeCharis, CPA extraordinaire, coming to you live from downtown or uptown, somewhere in the middle, Bethpage, Long Island, New York, and we're gonna
Studio
have
City,
we're,
California, where,
listen, that I didn't introduce you yet, Lisa.
oh, sorry.
This is my intro. Where was I? So tonight we have another amazing episode of How to Win at Business, and tonight we have my pixelated friend Lisa Gold. You look fine from my end, so you think that you look pixelated, but Lisa, I don't know how to describe Lisa. She's become a good friend. She's a client. She's funny. She's smart. She acts outside the box, and why don't you know what to say, Lisa? So why don't you
Of
just say it?
course I do. The show must go on. That's the first thing I started. So if people came on at the beginning of this, what happened was my green screen completely decided to fall apart, which I would have been able to put up my lovely company logo and have a background that's not my kitchen. But crap happens. I was going to say something else, but I don't know whether this is PG or R rated.
I don't know
So
either.
I'm from downtown. There is no downtown. Studio City, California, next to all the studios. We can walk to Universal Studios from my house and nestled in the beautiful Hollywood Hills. Thank you, Joe, for having me on the show. Yes, this is all about business. And I work in several businesses, but mainly the business of show.
Yes, but you do something. There's people that do what you do, I guess, which is try to help creative people monetize their talents, right?
Yeah. There's a
Because
gap. There's a big gap between creativity and commerce. And almost everybody that I know that wants to make money as an actor, a writer, a singer, a dancer, maybe you want to be a celebrity chef, maybe you want to be an influencer. The whole point of all of these things is making money, right? If you're doing it for a
well,
living or even
so
as a hobby.
so here's the thing. I don't know which side of the brain is the logical one, but that's what I use because making money was just, I'm like, why else would I do this? But creatives, they're like, what? I'm not, I don't care about the money. I care about my art. So they're using a whole different side of the brain, right?
Yeah,
So I,
there's the whole phrase "cash in on your passion." The problem with passion is that you would do it for free. So being passionate about something is not enough to have you be able to make a living or even have
but
a nice hobby make you any kind of income. So if you really want to make an income or make money from your art, you need to treat your art like a product that's bought and sold. And by the way, a very saturated marketplace because we have no shortage of creativity in the world, right? So
well,
monetizing, yeah.
but I got to stop you there. There's no shortage, but I think about all the people that are out there that
Oh, yeah.
don't have a chance to show the world what they do because they're not monetizing,
Well, they
right?
don't have a chance to show what they're doing because uh, um, they're coming from a mistaken premise that if they're talented, they will succeed, or if they're talented, someone will seek them out, or if they're talented, the talent is enough to make them money. And I don't know where that conversation came from. Probably from the people that sit on talk shows and go, well, I was just sitting next to some guy on an airplane and he goes, hey, come be in my movie, or, some crap like that, which is all spin. And in this world
That's
of show business, perception is reality. So somebody heard something once and then it got repeated and repeated and repeated. That overnight success that takes 20 or
well,
30 years. Yeah, just doesn't exist.
not for nothing. That happens with entrepreneurs as well. I mean, because we see people uh, go into business and it's unreal expectations, I think is what you're talking about, right? And so you can't fault them because but what I was thinking as I was introducing you, I'm like, there are people that monetize, and I think they call them agents, right? But
Well,
go ahead.
keep going. No, but yes and no.
Well, so to me, I want to get into show business. I need an agent to get me bookings, right? But that's not a business. You're the agent, I think, is just getting you jobs and they take a percentage, right? Or a
Well,
manager or a
yes. So,
manager. I mean, so tell me what the difference is.
so representative, first of all, let's look at the word represent. Present. Most people who want an agent have no idea what they're presenting in the first place. They have no idea what their actor product is, or, if they write something, they go, oh, I'm really talented and I love to write. Well, where's your script? Where's your outline? Where's your treatment? Where is it? What is it that you are presenting that you want an agent to represent just to a different set of contacts? And these days, because of computers and the ability for actors to reach, let's skip the middleman, skip agents, let's even skip casting directors. Let's go right to the people who want to hire you, the creative team. We can do that ourselves now. Which is why it opens up a whole nother ball game to people who aren't actors, which I also help, which I like to call real people. There's so many avenues to make money just as being a real person, that I started to focus there, because I would assert that a lot of your listeners of your podcast are in another kind of business. You probably don't have too many actors listening to a tax strategy and business money podcast, but maybe they do.
But you know what? There's interest out there, which gives me hope for your business, because when we did that webinar, we not only did you get a bunch of people, but they stayed and they asked questions. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I think they want that. They don't even know.
They don't know. They don't know. And it's
right,
all over.
right.
And so I started to become a coach and a consultant in this area, the business of show, in 2009. Back when literally social media was just starting. I think people were just joining Facebook in 2009, and it wasn't even used to gain clients or gain interest. It was just used to communicate. And so that's what, 12 years ago now. And as I was one of the first, probably there were like maybe 3 or 4 people doing what I do. But this conversation has finally arisen, where in 12 years, you've got artists going, maybe I need to do something about the business side. Maybe I should pay attention over here. But it's still such a junior conversation that is drowned out by all of the universities and private acting places and online learn how to be a painter and learn how to be a writer. I mean, there's no shortage of the education of show. And the education of show teaches you that you just need to be great, and then you'll make some money. And it's a big freaking lie, because I know some really, really, really talented actors and artists, visual artists with literally storage units full of art that they can't sell. And I know brilliant actors who have no idea even how to get an agent. They don't know how to approach them. They don't know how to speak about what it is they do differently from every other actor out there. Well, I'm talented. Talent's in the eye and ear and heart of the beholder. I've been in rooms, Joe, where I've seen the same performance watched by 8 people, and I've seen 5 people go, oh wow, that's pretty good, I could probably use you in something, and 2 people go, you could do a little something different here, and it's not for me, and 1 person go, this person has no talent whatsoever. And we're all watching the same thing. So what is it? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Talent is in the eye of the beholder. And what I teach is the person who's the creative is how to figure out how to speak about what it is you offer, not what you want, which is a big mistake. I'm an actor. I want to be in a TV series. I want an agent. I only want to do stories that are in this genre. Nobody cares. They care what they want. And so to be, and we're in what we call an oversaturated marketplace. If you want to make money tomorrow, go to school to be a nurse. Go to school to be anything in the medical field. You'll make money tomorrow. The minute you graduate, you will have 5 offers waiting.
Right. Let me ask you something. Let me ask you, because I know if I don't stop you, you'll
just keep
go. I know. So, So I've spoken to a couple of your clients,
Yes, you have.
and some people that aren't your clients that just came because they know you and whatever. But it seemed to me like they were almost accepting of the fact that they don't have that much money. Like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
I'm on unemployment, and then last year I made 20 grand, and I'm like, well, that's not
Because
okay.
starving artist is almost worn like a nobility.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait, because they want to like start a business or get
Yeah.
a grant, and I'm like,
It reminds me of the church. The church should be free. If it's good for you, it should be free. You don't have to pay to go to church. Well, until they come
I
cash,
was
right?
I went to a church, and I moved in Flushing, and they never passed a basket. I was like,
Wow.
I was like, how do you guys pay for this? They were like, oh, the elders or whatever put up the money. I'm like, there must be some pretty rich elders because
Yeah.
that.
Well, unless you have a
But
sponsor,
you know,
the thing about being a starving artist, it's almost like your art is pure. I don't do it for the money. I do it for
so
the art. And then behind the scenes, they'd like to get paid and wonder why they can't.
right, it's I
It's
guess like a mindset thing that they really got to break through.
it's a
And
vicious circle.
a lot of people have that. I mean, I had it, I might still have it, but the fear of money. Maybe they're thinking that, oh, I might tarnish uh my talent by taking money.
Well, you know
I
that
don't know.
phrase "sell out." Oh, they were a sellout. Like that. So
Yeah.
here's a little interesting factoid. In New York, not in LA, but in New York, they separate in the acting industry into two different categories: commercial and legit. Now, commercial is everything that you would do as an actor to be in a commercial or in a print ad or a voiceover to sell a different product or service. Legit comes from the word legitimate. Back when, I don't do commercials, darling. I only do legitimate theater. I only
Right.
do legitimate film. It's because it's got a connotation of, it's selling out. So when a big actor does a commercial, oh, they're selling out. And so that conversation, that thought process really screws a lot of people up.
Yeah.
In LA, at least, we kind of know it's an industry. We don't call it commercial and legit. It's separated into what we call commercial and theatrical. However, theatrical does not mean theater. Theatrical means film and television. We have
Okay.
our own vocabulary.
All right. So we're getting a little off track here because now you're talking acting lingo, and I talk business lingo.
Let's talk business lingo. I
Yeah.
love business
So
lingo.
so here's the thing that I realized. I'm like, you could make your own movie. I mean, I heard of a guy actually making a movie on an iPad, like an iPhone, but like it was a real like full length movie. I mean, I could make a movie,
Yes, you
right?
could.
With the technology now. So like I could make a YouTube channel. I have no talent at all, but I could probably put on some kind of show. And I'm not saying I would do this, but there's people that are making millions of dollars just doing wacky things on YouTube, right?
Oh, don't get
So,
me started. So here's the thing.
well,
It's only the people who know how to monetize YouTube that are making money on YouTube. That's
well,
the
but
truth. I know
the point
plenty of
is
actors of making stuff, putting it up on YouTube and going, huh, I wonder why I don't have subscribers.
because
Huh.
they don't look at it. That's what I'm saying. Like we need people like you that could say, "Hey, wake up! You could be you're throwing money away here."
Yes.
Even
Well,
if
then,
it's a couple of $100s a month. It's
but
once you
it's
get a
also that right
taste of
brain, left
that.
brain, the left brain joke. They don't want to do that part of it. So the problem with a lot of creators and creatives and actors and even people who will take the time to edit and write a script and make a movie and cast their friends, they'll produce it, they love the creating and the creation, and they have zero interest in the marketing of the creation.
Well,
Marketing is everything and everything is marketing. It's learning how to
you
use
know,
ads and social media and YouTube and the
so
right things to say and building a list and getting people
that
to watch.
that goes against what I've seen the last 40 years where people are going to business because all they want to do is market.
Yeah,
They want to create, they want to, and some of them don't create anything. They're like, I'll just sell other people's stuff.
exactly.
But
Because they're
but
salesmen.
right, but they start, they're independent. They don't get paid unless they sell.
Hmm.
And they're all like, hey, I'm networking. How do I, I want to do ads. I mean, I did that for years. I didn't know how to do it. So I had to get other people that knew how to do it. I have no problem with the accounting because I'm an accountant. So we did that. But most business owners don't want to do the accounting. So I could understand, the creatives don't want to do the marketing.
Hmm.
Okay, well, you have to do what I did. Find somebody. But I
Well,
think that they're
but not
not.
if you're a starving artist, you can't afford to hire. So that's the thing. Unless you have another income, a great side hustle, or you're married and a spouse, chips in, or you have uh, and this is the hardest part is the time that it takes to create your art and be in the moment and then take that. It's almost like another full-time job in marketing. So unless you're staying up all night, but hey, you want the balance. If you've got a family, if you've got kids, it really is a juggling act. And
I'm
starving
not.
artists stay starving because they don't focus.
I'm not,
And
okay. So now you're speaking my language because nothing is easy.
no,
That's by design. It's not supposed to be easy. So I don't feel bad for creative people because you know they don't
neither
get it.
do
But
I.
it always I feel bad for people, because like people like us try to teach people, and when they don't get it, that's when I'm like, oh my God, I'll pray for them.
So,
But
Joe, I did a little research on you just recently, and I didn't know you were doing this. You're doing something called a 75-day hard challenge.
75 hard.
75 hard. And I was like, what is this? I've been talking to Joe back and forth for a couple of months now. He's never mentioned this hard thing. And it reminded me as I started to watch some of your videos and then look into what it is your challenge is a phrase that somebody and I use it a lot in my programs when I'm speaking to starving artists or people who don't want to be starving artists. If you want this process to be easy, it's going to be hard. But if you're willing to do the hard stuff, then it'll be easy. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but there's too many people who want something for nothing. And the booby prize is being talented. Because the more talented you are, that's where the mindset is oh, because I'm so talented, I shouldn't have to do all that other stuff. I find that less talented, mediocre actors, less talented writers, barely there artists who market their ass off make a lot more money and
Okay,
a lot happier.
now you're on to something which is really the laws of the universe, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
If so, I have a coach, Larry Broughton. I don't know if you know him.
No, but you said he's
Uh,
the one that
wh-
challenged you for this 75
well,
day.
no, he's been coaching me for like a year and a half, and I said, Larry, I'm at a loss. I look at my life, my cycles, and I keep winding up in the same freaking place. I
Mm.
advance, I learn, I'm growing, but I don't think I'm where I should be. I should be a lot further ahead financially and all of this. So he says, well, you got to do something different then. Common sense, right? I tell people if you want different results. So he said, why don't you try this 75 hard? So I'm
Is
like,
that
okay.
his thing or is that a thing out there? Like if
No,
I were
no,
to
it was a
Google it?
thing out there. It's like a movement. And the funny thing is, so I started. I said, okay, I'm doing this. I'm not. So that's why I started posting it. I'm like, firstly, I don't want to say I didn't do it to Larry. He's like 6'5". He's a former Green Beret.
Wow.
And yeah, special ops Green Beret. He's the kind of guy that they would have sent into Afghanistan. Okay, so I'm like, okay, it's pretty little intimidating, right? But that's what I asked for. I said I can't let Larry down. And then I said, well, what if I put this out to the whole world? Every day I get up, I'll have to tell people that I didn't do it.
Wow.
And then and Craig Duswalt is going to be proud of me. I said, if I do this in the Rock Your Life Facebook group, by the time October comes, I'll be at like day 68 or something. So
Why
yeah,
75? Because I've, you hear all these like
okay. So
90 days,
here's the
30 days.
here's the funny thing. The guy that started this, his name is Andy Frisella.
Okay.
He's got a podcast. He's really raw. The F bomb is like every other word, and he's just like, you're a loser because you're not doing this. It's 75 days because 30 isn't enough and 60 isn't enough, and it's supposed to be hard, And here's the thing: the first day I ate a cookie. The second day I found out if you cheat, you start from day one again.
Sounds like Alcoholics Anonymous.
I got yeah, and
You
you
know
don't
what?
want to. So, but you got to do 2 45-minute workouts a day. Drink a gallon of water. Read 10 pages. Have a healthy diet. No junk food. So, like the cookies set me back, and take a picture, right, to show your
And that's
progress.
it.
That's it.
Yeah,
On
seems simple, but
the
I bet
the
you most people don't
the
even get to day
fifth,
3.
listen, the fifth day. Now I'm doing everything else. I'm doing the 45-minute walks. On the fifth day, I'm like, oh, I got to take my picture. I realized I forgot to take my picture on the fourth day. So I had to start from day one again. So now I'm on day 14. But so here's the thing. I'm talking to Larry yesterday. And I said, oh, this guy, Andy Frisella, he's like, oh, he's changing my life. He's like telling me all the stuff that my mother told me that I didn't listen to. And he's like, who's Andy Frisella? He,
Larry said
he,
that?
yeah, he's like, I'm like, he's the guy that created 75 Hard. He's like, oh, I didn't know. Larry did it. He's like, I just did it. And he told a bunch of other people to do it, but he didn't know, like, he didn't listen to the guy's podcast. But I thought that was
Interesting.
pretty funny because I'm like, oh my God, this guy's changed. And Larry was just like, oh, you should do this.
There's
Let me
too
tell you
much
something.
content. That brings me back to why it's so hard to monetize
So,
being a
but
creative because
this
it's
is
so
so this
many.
comes back. This is why I brought this up.
Okay.
It's hard for a reason. It's supposed to be hard. Did you know who Kobe Bryant is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I just watched one of his YouTube things. He used to get up at 4 a.m. in the morning to work out for 2 hours. You know why? Because when he woke up at 6 o'clock, he could only get 2 workouts in a day. So by getting up at 4 a.m., he got 3 workouts in. And he said, listen, after 10 years of being in the league, I'm 5 years ahead of everyone else because I
Mm.
worked out that extra 2 hours every day. And, all these athletes, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, they work their butts off. We don't see that, and it goes with everything, with business, with acting. So, yeah, Glenn Morshower, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, it's work.
He's been
Nothing's
on my
gonna.
programs. He's
Oh, has he?
yes,
Yeah.
he's come
So
on to my gold standard
yeah,
program. He's lovely.
he's an inspiration. But ask him, ask him what he had to do to get jobs. And now, he's in a whole different level.
Yeah, and
He became successful, but it wasn't easy.
the distinction that first of all, I love it because my company's called Act Outside the Box, and he says you got to do the outside the box things. Everybody uses that term, but it's not enough to think outside the box. You got to take action. That's what the act means.
So how do you get people? Because I've seen you got a lot of people following you. You have a nice little community there, and I know
I have
that
a
it's
great one.
growing.
Yes, it is.
How do you? So you're attracting the people, right? I see that they love you.
Well, I
How do
drop
you?
an bomb too once in a while. I don't know.
But so how do you actually? And I don't know how much. Oh, we're on 25 minutes already. I usually try to keep these to like 20 minutes
Oh,
because
geez,
people's.
we're done then. Oh well.
No, I have a couple of. I want to. What's your process to take people you really got to you don't only have to teach them that this is what you got to do. You got to like
Well, I'll tell you very simply, I have a process where I work backwards. So, and I have people focus, because the thing about dreamers and creatives is our dreams stay kind of nebulous and out there and always unattainable. And we don't set goals, and we don't know when we've met benchmarks along the way. So when I start working with a client, whether it's a private coaching client or in several of my programs, I have you start with the end in mind. What is your dream of being a successful artist? What does it look like? How much money is in the bank? Do you have a second home? Are you married? What are you in a different country? What are you on a series? Are you, what is it that you want exactly? And most people have never even been asked that question in this business of show.
You know who you sound like?
Who?
And don't get John Limbacher. It's like you gotta see it. No, he's told me that you gotta see it, you gotta feel it.
I think maybe he heard it from me.
He might, but it's a lot of people say it. It's like you gotta visualize it, right?
Yeah, and I've been doing this for 12 years, and I haven't changed it in 12 years. So, and then what I do is I have people work backwards, because
hold on a second. So how do you get them to? Do you do like a vision board? Do you have them journal? What do they do?
It depends on what program. I have a program called Being Your Own CEO, the Business of Show. And 5 components of running a major corporation. The CEO, which is the mission and the vision. When we're working on that, we'll work on that for 2 or 3 hours, and then part of that is a vision board. And then I have people come up and speak it, because a lot of people are visual, a lot of people are auditory, a lot of people write. So people learn in different ways. But to really get it in you, that's just the CEO portion. And then, hey, you'd come in handy for the CFO portion. Okay, now you got to have money to invest, money to fund, and then the money that comes in. Where do you allocate it? And you don't waste it. It's not a limited resource. It's a very abundant resource, but managing that resource is the key.
I get it.
So I won't go into all the rest of that, but
right, that's good.
So the thing about working backwards then is you start to break it down into more benchmarks and attainable steps, so that literally you have the list of what there is to accomplish tomorrow. And the one little baby step in action you take tomorrow is in support and fulfillment of that larger dream. The problem that most creatives have is that their dream is so big, or their vision is so big, but it's undistinguished, one of those words, that they really just don't know what to wake up and do tomorrow. They know they got to be doing something. So what do? They continue to create. They continue to be in an acting class. They continue to paint. They continue to write, because that's the only thing that makes them feel like they're on the path to their dreams. But that is not the answer.
It's like they're just locked up in a room, and that's pretty much what Andy Frisella says. He's like, it's one day at a time.
Vincent Van Gogh didn't make any money on his art or become famous until after he was dead, and he was insane during his process. And I think that's really what a lot of artists suffer from, this insanity of, I just want to create, but why can't I feed myself, and why don't I have good relationships, and why do I drink all the time, and why am
sad. It's sad. You don't want to see anybody, and that I do this with, it's almost like the same story as an entrepreneur. Listen, you have all this potential. If you just tweak this and you change a little, your mindset a little, you could have everything, right?
Yeah. So when I work with people in my, I have a membership group called the Gold Standard. I work really holistically, because why do we do any of it? And I love the law of attraction, and what you focus on expands, and, being an artist and trying to make money at whether you're doing it for a living or for a hobby, that's just part of your life. You have your health, you have your family, you have your loved ones, you have your pets. I'm a fur mom. I'm like, that's a huge part of my life. And why do I do anything? So I work from a holistic approach that makes it easier for you to get down to, okay, this is the thing that I'm committing to doing tomorrow. Very much like your Hard 75. The thing is will you get up and do it tomorrow? That's the answer to will you
So,
keep your word to yourself and to others is the very, very basic integrity that you need to put in order to have all your dreams come true. That's it. Will I give my
okay.
word and keep
Th-
my word? That's it.
that's a good place to end pretty much because I want to. This has been great, Lisa. We'll have to do it again. I
Can
could
I,
talk.
invite your listeners to
Yeah. I didn't mean it's
download
over.
something?
Over. I want to. It's how do people get in touch with you? How do they join your group?
Okay, so
Because
well, one of the
it,
things that I do is I give away a free white paper that I've written with a bunch of links and resources called How to Make Money Just Being You. And so if you go to moneybeingu.com, moneybeingu.com,
okay,
it'll
let me
give you
see if
the
I could put that in the chat.
7 ways to make money just being you. My favorite one is in commercials because
Being
everybody wants real people in commercials. So if you've ever wanted to have your 15 minutes of fame, um, uh, and you have any kind of creative hamminess about you, that's one really great way.
so
And then
let
there's
I want to
ways.
ask you a question about that. What
Yeah,
is that? Be justbeingyou.com?
no, money being you.
Money
Dot
being
com.
you. Okay, so the commercials, and I think that you would talk. So you don't have to be like a beautiful. I mean, you could just be like me, like just a normal person, and
They
get into
they want
commercials. Right?
bald people, people with gaps in their tooth, overweight people,
I'm
people with
bald. I'm
wrinkles.
bald.
I
But
got
look,
a commercial recently because I have eyebrows. Well, I'm in this trial now that the eyebrows come to here and then they kind of stop. So I'm working with this famous guy again. I didn't know he was famous. His name's Chaz Dean. I'm like, who's Chaz Dean?
Chaz, are you kidding me?
Never heard. Don't say I've never heard of him. Apparently, you look at him and he's everywhere. He's put this way. I'm aging myself. He's the Vidal Sassoon of today.
Get out of
So
here!
you
Oh
know,
my god,
yeah, he's
that guy
everywhere.
was huge.
And like
I
me
know.
and Chaz were like this, and I'm like, and when I said that to a friend, they go, Chaz Dean. So
That's
anyway,
fun.
I got a commercial
Okay.
because I had thinning eyebrows. I've got another commercial because I had wrinkles. I got another commercial because I had an older car. And my commercial that's coming out in October of this year for Jardiance is no, I don't have type 2 diabetes, which is it's a drug for that, but I had to have a body mass index of a certain number or higher in order to even qualify.
Oh my
So
god.
they want real people. We want to
I
see
listen.
ourselves
I
reflected back.
I have all kinds of problems I could tell you about. Can you get me on a commercial?
Gas, indigestion,
Okay.
all of it. Blood sugar,
Okay.
I don't know.
So what is it?
Yeah.
Moneybeingyou.com. They can connect with you. They can get into your group,
Yeah, you
right?
know what you do is you'll put in your email address. Yeah, moneybeingyou.com. It
And
asks
now
you,
I do want to mention so every month you have what's the name of the meeting? Showbiz
oh, the
night
gold
or
standard. Well, I do
the
the
go-
gold standard, and then once a month I do something called Showbiz Thursdays, where
Okay.
I bring in people. That's open to my entire email list. Gold standard members.
Can anybody go besides your email list?
Yeah, but they got to know about it. So,
Oh, okay. So they got to get on your
yeah.
email list.
So they got to get on my email list, or you can always go to actoutsidethebox.com. That's my website address. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, cool. So the reason why I wanted to bring up the Showbiz Thursdays is because you charge a $20 fee, but
Hmm.
it all goes to a charity.
Best
Right.
Friends Animal Society. Bestfriends.org is the website URL if you want to check out. It's the largest. Well, first of all, they've got the largest no-kill animal sanctuary in North America. That includes Canada.
Wow.
In all of North America, it's in Kanab, Utah. I've visited there and have volunteered personally. It is so rewarding. That's where Cesar Millan did his show Dogtown. That's where they sent Michael Vick's dogs to be rehabilitated. They do so many domestic animals. It's and then they've got satellite offices in all the major cities. They do something once a year called Strut Your Mutt. I've done a fundraiser many times, and that's also where I ended up adopting my kitten by accident when I went to volunteer at a kitten rescue event. But you know, animals are my children and my
Yeah.
love, and as are a
Okay.
lot of people out there. I know via
Yes.
that message. So.
Okay, parting words of wisdom. If you're a starving artist out there, what would you want to tell them?
Oh my gosh. Buckle up. It's going to be a fun ride, but you have to have fun along the way. You got to keep your vibe really high. And what I mean by that is I love the acronym of vibe. Visualize, intend, believe, and then you'll experience.
I
So
love that.
I love that vibe, right? Keep that vibe high, keep the negative Nellies. Don't listen to anybody who says no, or it has to be this, or it has to be that way. Check in with your gut. Realize you have something very special and creative within you that no one else can duplicate. It's just you, and then market the crap out of it.
I love that. Thank you, Lisa. And I would like to add that pain is inevitable. Inevitable.
Yes,
You're gonna have pain, but suffering is optional.
yes, it is.
Okay,
I've heard
and
that
that's just a
before.
mindset.
And
You
too many
know, because
people suffer and struggle and starve, and there's no reason for it.
yeah. So 75 hard is painful, but I've lost 13 pounds already, Lisa.
Wow, that is
Uh,
amazing.
yeah.
I need to lose a few myself. The quarantine 15 is still sticking here a little bit.
Do 75 hard, man.
Yeah.
Try it.
Well, can I try with 30 hard? I mean, 75 seems so daunting.
Do 30 hard twice and then do it
30 hard
15 more
two
days.
and a half times.
Yeah. All right, over and out. That's our story, folks. We're sticking with it. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you guys.
Stay
Thank you
on,
both for
Lisa.
having me on.
I have some important happy